much easier to use instead of using the clone tool. Alright, now we have a pretty good looking background. Now we need to work on the knees, because if you notice in the original commercials, his knees are in the background. Now I'm not actually sure if when they record the real Apple commercials if they actually have knees there, but I was kind of guessing that the knees are probably just part of the background. They put them on in Photoshop or something, because that's much easier than actually having a person sit there for hours just holding their knees there. So what I did was take a picture of my knees, holding my 60D above my head and pointing it down, and I got a picture like this. And as you can see, it's just sitting there in front of a green screen. It doesn't have to be in front of a green screen because we were going to mask it instead of key it, so it could really just be anywhere. Just sit in a chair and take a picture of your knees. Now let's drag that picture into here. And it's way too big, so let me scale that down. Alright, that's good enough. Now let's make a mask around our knees. And like I said before, you should take a lot more time when you're doing this. I'm just making rough little masks for time's sake. This is a terrible mask. You'll also want to key out, or mask out these little holes if you have them between your pants here. Alright, now as we did before, select your layer and hit M, and we're going to change some of these to subtract. The ones that are masking out the little holes, will change that add to subtract, and this one also to subtract. And click your layer and click M. Click it twice, then it'll bring up the feathering options, because if your mask is like mine and it's really jagged, you're going to want to fix some of this. We'll feather it about 2 on each one, and then we'll do expansion -2. This just kind of shrinks the whole mask so that it gets rid of some of that outside stuff that we had. Probably a little bit more since my mask was so bad. -31, that's a lot. Oh well, I should have taken more time on that. Okay, well that's good enough. Alright, now you can close out those mask properties. Take your knees and hit S, and we're going to kind of position them so that they're about the same size as the original. Now if you need to, you can take that original picture that we worked with and bring it over the top of this. Make it full size, so that you can kind of see, actually bring it under, so you can see where to position your knees. Maybe need to make them wider. I guess that guy had some fat legs or something. My knees look really skinny. Here we go. Looks like I need to rotate mine. You can hit W to bring up your rotate tool. Rotate a little bit. And that's about in the same spot. So you can delete or turn off that picture. So we have our knees right there. Now those don't really look like they fit into the scene very well. So what I did to make them look a little better, I darkened them up by adding a levels adjustment. Going to knees, effect, color correction, levels, and just messing with these settings until they look right. Mine was about 5 on the input black, about 260 on that. And then gamma, about 0.8, 0.85, whoa, 0.8, and output black was 15.5, and input at 237. That looks a little better. You might also take a saturation effect by selecting knees, going to effect, color correction, hue and saturation. And I brought the saturation down quite a bit on mine, down to actually -55 with mine. And then a brightness and contrast, because they're still a little bit light, still a little overexposed for the scene. Brightness and contrast, and I brought it down to -50. Now yours don't have to be dark. I mean, if you wanted light jeans in your scene, you can obviously just leave them lighter. It's just whatever you want to do. -70. I was just trying to match the original jeans. Make it look better. Oh, sorry, that wasn't so. And then I brought these down to contrast at -20. Alright, that's about how I like them. Again, you can do whatever you want to do. If you want them light, you can leave them light. Alright, we have our background pretty much done. So to start seeing what this is going to look like, we can go back into that original composition here where we keyed out the hands, and we can drop our background in behind the two hands. So we take our background composition here and drop it in behind it. It's already starting to look pretty good, you can see. The hands are on top of the knees, and it looks like he's sitting there playing with his iPad 3, futuristic iPad. Okay, next thing we're going to do. We're going to need to work on the effects, or I guess the images on the screen. So, the way I did that, I didn't actually have an iPad. I don't own an iPad. So I went into my local Apple store and took screenshots of the iPad doing different things. I took one of Facebook, one of the picture photo albums and stuff, and I took all those screenshots and emailed them to myself. And then I got a folder on my computer of probably 15 or 20 screenshots like these that I took using the iPad. So I'm going to take one of these screenshots, this one right here, if I can find it, and I'm going to drop it in. I'm going to take one of these screenshots, I'm going to drop it into a new composition. And it's just of the CNN app, and stuff's going on, I guess. Tornadoes. This is a really old thing, so I don't even know when this is from. And to make it look transparent, and so you can like see the background and it looks all futuristic and whatnot, we're going to key out some colors in this. Now I tried a bunch of different ones. I tried keying out all the white, and so the white would be transparent, but that looked a little funny because there's a lot of white in here. So a lot of it was transparent. So the best way that I could think of doing it was key out the black. And I did that by selecting the layer, going to Effect, Keying, going to Linear Color Key. Now I had never used Linear Color Key before, but I tried all different kinds of keying effects, and this one seemed to work the best when I was keying out just black. Now you're going to take your little eyedropper tool and select the black, obviously, if you want to key out black. And you can mess around with it. I mean, if you want to try keying out the white, you can do that. Which whatever you want to do. So this already looks pretty good. We're getting a lot of it keyed out, but then we can still keep the structure of the page. You kind of can still see what's going on. You may want to mess with the settings a little bit. To mine, I found to get the best effect, I put this at 5%, and then this one on here at 0.5%. So that just keys out some of it, and then we still have a lot of the color and contrast in other parts of the image. That's about all I did for the screen. So you can go back into your original composition. Oops, sorry, this one. And you can drop in your screen composition. Okay. You can see if you move that around that the blacks, you can actually see through them on there, which is pretty cool. So now we have to work on positioning this to make it look like it fits on the little plexiglass iPad that we recorded with. So let's turn this off. First thing we need to do is scale up our hands because they look a little small compared to those knees right there. So let's take our hands and probably about, I guess it all depends on what size your footage was, but I think about 115, 117 looks right on mine. You also want to do the same scaling to the other hand. 117. Put that right there. Okay, that looks like